Network.
All right, fellas, let's get into it here. Detroit Lions injury report. There has been breaking news that came out today. I mean, we did Woodward Nights last night, and we talked about some of these guys playing, and we were like, oh, there's no problem. Dan Campbell this morning before the news came out even went on the podium, and he was like, Brian Branch 2 days ago had a great day, or Jahmyr Gibbs, great day of practice 2 days ago when he was limited, but he was out there. He looked good. Things were headed in the right direction. Branch, things were headed in the right direction. Some of these guys, it seemed like all of this might be out of nowhere, but the breaking news, injury report, Broder, Jahmyr Gibbs out on Sunday.
Out like a bone.
Brian Branch out
like
on Sunday.
James Mitchell out.
James Mitchell. I was trying to think of the other one there.
There's
James
one more
Mitchell.
for you.
There's a huge one. Jonah
Jackson.
Yeah.
Which is big, and we're going to get into it, but especially when you're going up against a defense that has Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, that guard position, that left guard is huge.
That's a long-ass list,
This might be, I thought about this morning when I was prepping for the show, fellas. This might be the longest injury list in the NFL. I would like to see everyone else's, but...
That's true. To be fair, I did cut half of this off. Otherwise, it would have been like real tiny. It's got the Tampa Bay Bucks below it. It says a lot of full press. There's like one guy who's going to be questionable.
Do we have the most people out though for the game like this early on a Friday? Like, that's another question I have. So let's just go before I ask the question.
Yeah.
Brian Branch out ankle, Jahmyr Gibbs out hamstring, Jonah Jackson out shoulder, James Mitchell out hamstring, Mosley obviously out, Josh Pascal obviously. Actually, great news there, fellas. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Limited
practice. He's out, but I bet you he plays next week versus the Ravens. That's a big one. Khalil Dorsey, he's going to play. I'm just going to throw it out there.
I think those two are still being decided if they take him technically off the IR designation, the 21 days.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's questionable. They're holding off to the very last minute to sort of announce their active roster.
And then the last one there was Sam Laporta.
Yes.
And Lucas, I did hear you too. I heard you on the heavyweights talking about that you kind of feel like he should sit out.
Yeah.
Did we already play his injury video about how he felt good?
No, I don't believe so.
Can we play that real quick? Because this gave me a lot of optimism.
Yeah, let me give it to you.
Yeah. The fact he looked...
He's feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
Do you expect to play on Sunday? That's the plan. That's the goal.
Did you hurt him practice
there? No, it kind of flared up, I guess, on Wednesday. I think it was mostly from the game, but I mean, it's football, things happen. We certainly work our bodies pretty hard, so feeling a lot better today.
Just one other thing.
All right, so first of all, I don't know if you guys noticed halfway through that, like when they were like, "Are you going to play?" He was like smiling.
Yeah, he stared the dude down,
and then he just got like absolutely locked. Like that's
You got to be ready to play.
Yeah. I don't know who that is,
Elite.
but that is.
It's got to be Michael Jordan, right?
Oh, yeah. That's
Is that
MJ.
Jordan? Okay. I can never tell with the thing in my ear. I don't know, man. But the thing with Laporta, fellas, is I know, Lucas, you said you didn't want him to play. I don't think the injury is that serious, to be honest. He said it kind of flared up on Wednesday, so that was why. It seemed like maybe it was something that was nagging him on Sunday, the game. He practiced for a couple days with it anyways on Monday, and then Wednesday it was like, hey, maybe you just sit out. Tuesday you had it off. Maybe just take a couple extra days. Seems like he's very confident he will be playing Sunday.
Yeah.
And the way he kind of went from that smile to like locked in feels like he's like ready to go out there and compete.
Psychopath.
I think every football player is.
The way he was just scanning, bro, it's like some serial killer. Like,
well, those great players have that. Like when you see UFC fighters that are really good ones, they're like all happy before, and then all like Patty the Batty, and then all of a sudden he just is like.
Yeah, they have a little switch, like a game on switch, basically. It's like, you could be cool right now just talking, me and you, but next you know, as soon as he like puts on the pads or the helmet, it's like, oh, time to be a dog.
Yeah, it's that competitive switch that these guys have. The
like
greats
me.
have it.
I guess that's like me. I do that a lot.
Yeah, the greats have it. I have it too. I tell people all the time I have this switch. People at my work saw my video of the Kool-Aid, and they keep asking me like, "Oh, can we get that Booner?" And I'm like, "Listen, fella, hey, there's a switch, man. I'm the same person around here in Woodward, but like outside when I'm at home and at work, it's like my real name, not Booner.
Mark.
Yeah,
Mark.
Yeah.
You're Jake.
Andy.
You're Jake.
I'm Jake. I'm Jake at
From
work.
State Farm.
I was just gonna say State Farm.
Yeah, and I would hate to be, no offense to anyone named Jake, I would kind of hate to be Jake. Like, all I think about whenever anyone says Jake from State Farm and Cactus.
And like a golden retriever. Like,
That's Flannel's golden retriever's
that what
name
it
is
is?
Jake.
Dude,
Oh yeah, it is.
It's an issue. I told him he had to change his dog's name.
And
dude,
Goldens are
for
khaki
Halloween,
colored.
it's the worst time of the year for Halloween because everyone's like, "Oh, you should be Jake from State Farm. That'd be funny." Oh, ha, good one. Heard that 100 times.
and golden retrievers are khaki colors. Khaki colored.
Yeah, I love golden retrievers.
Yeah.
though.
But
It's a little doggist.
Sam Laporta, I do believe he'll play. I will say one thing. Seeing that clip, they as in the team, and definitely Sam Laporta, they're being coached up on something. Like, they're being coached
They
up on
are.
how to have these conversations, how to not share too much. He was so smiley at the beginning of that, and then all of a sudden he got dead serious. And there was something a little questionable about that. Not questionable about Sam, but like, how much of the truth is he telling us?
Do you think he plays? That's a question.
I think it's an 80% chance he plays.
I think
which
if
is
he-
pretty high.
If he wasn't going to play and they kind of knew he wasn't going to play, they would have put him as doubtful. They did it to 2 guys last week.
Yeah.
I agree, because especially like not knowing anything, like I didn't see that injury before, like
Yeah.
or I didn't see that video before when I first saw it. The fact that he's like that, like I think he's fine. I
Yeah.
think
Same.
it's precautionary, probably. Like he probably went half speed at practice to make sure it didn't flame up again. So technically he's questionable because he didn't practice full. So it's probably just he's good.
Do you think with injuries like that, and we'll kind of get through some of the other injuries here because I have a couple of questions for you, Broder, being in the building, especially with this offensive line.
Yeah.
But I think kind of with that injury, that calf injury. Sorry, fellas. I don't know. Oh, was that Broder?
No, you just got to keep rolling. Just don't
Sorry. I
just,
get laughed at a lot, so when I hear laughing,
all right.
sometimes I don't know if I said something different. But with Sam Laporta, they had Tuesday off, and then he said it flared up. So maybe that off day he had some rest on it, and maybe it irritated it a little bit. And then all of a sudden, it was like Wednesday. He's like, "Hey, I have this issue." So
I do think that the Lions, again, speculation. I feel like they're taking advantage of the luxury that they're afforded with starting 4-1. They're able to be a little bit more strategic earlier in the season. Jahmyr Gibbs maybe would be okay to play if this was a more important game. Maybe if it was even the Ravens game next week. I don't know. I think they're just able, with their depth and their record, able to take advantage and maybe hold some guys back when normally they would play.
let me tell you guys real quick though about the
Tell
Lions
'em.
pregame show. I'm
You
going to hit
will.
that real quick because then I have a question for you that we will talk about
Can't
on the
wait,
Lions
dude.
pregame show. Make sure you guys tune in this Sunday. I still don't know the time, Lucas, JB. I don't know if
I'm
anyone.
assuming, let's do some basic math together.
One.
I said 3:30.
If it starts at 9:30,
Or no, 2:30. I mean.
I'm agree with you.
I think about 2 or 2:30 it will be at. Jeff told me it was still going to be at 9:30. Don't believe that's going to happen if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, no.
But
No, it's
it will
gotta be a
be
different time.
me. It will be Jeff on the desk. Lucas will be there. Gentry will be there. It will be around 2 or 2:30. We'll get an official time for you guys. We'll tweet it out and put it out. Hosted by Jeff Freddy. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for the Detroit Lions pregame show for all the information needed.
Hope you guys are all enjoying your pregame tonight. Going out on a Friday night.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Getting a little sauced up.
I'm
Getting a
pregaming
little
here. Cheers.
Juice.
Pregaming for
A
nothing.
little dispo.
Yeah, me and JB indulged.
Oh,
Yummy.
yeah.
Me and JB had to, man. 6:30, we were
Long
just
day.
like,
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Went out to the dumpster.
Well, what's your question, Boone?
Question is
Axe about
this
it.
offensive line,
Yes.
Jonah Jackson out. We've seen kind of guys get swapped around already with Big V out. Big V is obviously back and he is kind of ready to go. Who kind of takes that Jonah Jackson position then? That is my question. Is it Graham Glasgow steps in, still stays in that? Because I'm pretty sure, did you guys see this? I think Graham Glasgow is the #1 rated guard in the NFL for
Yeah.
PFF.
At
For
least
the
he
season.
was
Number
last
2.
week.
For the
Number
season
2.
or just for last week?
Last week, I
Yeah,
believe.
because he was in the top 5. Like, Lions had 5 players, like in the top. I forget what the ranking was, but Graham Glasgow was in that
So
upper tier.
can he just play that other side?
I think so.
Is that what's going to happen?
I believe so. Or in Coyote Awasika, and I believe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but
Brother,
he's the
what
other
did you
one.
just say?
He's Coyote Awasika.
I don't know.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
he's one of the backup guards.
Yeah.
My guess,
Dan calls him something else. He calls him like
he calls him
Yo,
I gotta
Kayo or
rewatch the
something,
press.
or
You're
Kayo?
right. He does.
Kayo maybe.
Is it
I think
Kyle?
that might be it. He does call him something else. He may be also playing that position. My guess is that Graham Glasgow moves over to the left side to play left guard,
Yep.
and then Halapula Vaitai goes and plays right guard.
That's a
Halapula
talent.
Vaitai.
Yeah.
I
No
can hit it now, dude. I've done a show with him for over a month.
Boondogg
I know
is
how to
getting
say
it.
it. off the dome.
Yeah, no. So Halapoulivaati Vaitai could have played last week. We're just hitting it again. So I think he comes back. I think holding him out of last game makes it that much better that he can come and be that much more healthy this week.
Yeah, I'm happy that they signed Glasgow. That is such. When you look back at it now, that's one of the most underrated signings of this team.
Oh, yeah.
was Graham Glasgow, because they signed him and everyone was like, oh, he's probably not going to play. He's probably But if you think about it, Brad Holmes probably realized the offensive line struggles and injuries that's happened the last 2, 3, 4 years, and they were like, hey, we do need to get someone that could be very expandable. Graham Glasgow was like the perfect dude for it.
Yeah, because he can fill in on both guard positions and center. And with Frank Ragnow, who's been a menace to opposing defenses this season, he's always got that toe injury lingering, so you never know when they're going to give him a game off. Even when you think of practice, they need an elite center, a top tier center, I should say. Graham Glasgow can fill in admirably for that. It's something about those big boys up front that just make this team run that much smoother.